Hello, everybody, and welcome to 3 o'clock with SOC. I'm Gabe Charles. I'm the program manager at Southside Organizing Center. And give me just a second so I can bring those on to Spanish interpretation that need it. Buenas tardes, muchísimas gracias por estar aquí en 3 en punto con SOC. Yo soy Gaby Charles, soy la gerente de programas de SOC y estamos muy agradecidos de tenerles a ustedes aquí con nosotros hoy. Si ustedes quieren escuchar en español, lo puede hacer a través de una llamada de conferencia. Hay que marcar 646-749-3122 y luego hay que introducir la contraseña, cual es 779-328-221. I also want to remind you all that you can always access these videos after we do them live on our Facebook page or our YouTube page. So even if you can't be with us at 3 o'clock on the dot, these videos will always appear on our Facebook page and YouTube page. I would also love to know who's here with us today. If you could give us a like, a hello, a little heart, whatever smiley face you want to add into the comments so we know you're listening with us. And if at any point throughout our time today you have any questions, you can go ahead and throw them into the comment section because we're here to answer any questions that you all may have, and especially today regarding the April 6th election. And we're really excited to have with us Jonatan Zuñiga, who's going to be talking to us about the April 6th election. He's the deputy director of the Milwaukee Election Commission. So we're very thankful for him to be here with us today, and I will go ahead and bring him on now. Hello, hola, Jonatan.
Hi, Gabe. Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you for dedicating some time with us today. Why don't you just go ahead and start by introducing yourself and talking to us a little bit about what it is that you do with the Election Commission.
Sure, yeah. My name is Jonatan Zuñiga. I'm the Deputy Director at the Election Commission. I started in July of last year. So kind of my main responsibilities is overseeing the poll worker program. So for the November election, it was bringing on more than 3,000 poll workers to open up all of the polling sites. And for now, working with all of our staff to do that again and open 173 polling locations for this upcoming April 6th election. So everything that goes into, either training them, recruiting the poll workers, having all polling sites equipment and supplies, working with all of our staff to make sure that we have everything ready for the election at the polling site.
Great. And is it looking like you will have enough poll workers to open up all of those sites again? And are there still open spots for people that might want to apply?
Yes, we will have enough poll workers. We don't have to hire anyone new because we trained 2,400 new poll workers for the November election. So from there, even in November, morning of the November election, we were getting calls from chief inspectors saying they had too many poll workers at their site, which was a good problem to have. So we've been, calling people from that list of workers that we already have now. So it was a big challenge, but now it's also really good to have a whole new generation of poll workers that we can count for every election.
Definitely, to always have people to reach out to for the elections. Do you have any other major updates about the election that's coming up?
Major updates? Thankfully not. I mean, I think everything is, wherever you voted in February for the primaries, it's the same place and it's pretty much the same polling location as November. So there was only one polling location in the whole city of Milwaukee that changed from November, and that was the Lighthouse Youth Center here in Oklahoma. It just moved a block east to Clement J. Zablocki School there. So that was the only change. So wherever you're used to voting or where you voted in the presidential election, that's where you're going to go out and vote for this April 6th spring election.
Thank you for uplifting that change in location for those that live or would vote in that formerly the Youth Lighthouse Center. I know early voting is going on right now, or I'm sorry, yeah, go ahead. We'll let him answer that phone call.
Nope, just muting the phone,
Okay.
sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. So I know that early voting is going on right now, and it's different than what it was like in November. There aren't as many early voting locations. So can you explain that a little bit for people? Where can they early vote?
Yep. So there is only one location to vote early or in-person absentee, which is at the Zeidler Municipal Building. The address is 841 North Broadway. So right at the main entrance of Broadway Street. It's open from 8:30 to 4:30, and this whole week until Friday. And Friday it will be open until 5 p.m. So that is the only early voting site for this election.
And people can register to vote at that site as well, right?
Correct. So they can register to vote at that site or at their polling site on election day.
Great. And can you maybe just give a little explanation about what people might need to bring along with them if they want to register to vote?
Yeah. So if they want to register to vote at the either place, they'll need to bring two things: their photo ID, an acceptable form of photo ID. That could be their state driver's license or ID. That could be a passport. That could be, if they're a student, a college or university ID. And then also a proof of residence document. So if someone has a state driver's license with their ID and they have their current address on the ID, then that's the only thing they need. That counts as their acceptable form of ID and proof of residence. But let's say they don't. Let's say they have a passport. Then they have to bring a proof of residence, which could be a utility bill, a bank statement, or credit card statement. It could be a lease statement, a government document, a letter that you receive from Social Security office, from Medicare, some kind of government document that lets people know or has their address and their full name there. And it's also important to know that, for example, if you go to early voting or at their polling site, and if they forgot it or something, they are allowed to use show electronically, as long as the poll worker there can verify the information and it's legible and readable, and that it's an acceptable form of proof of residence. They are able to show it electronically on their phone or their tablet or whatever.
That's a really important note. Thank you for sharing that some electronic versions may be acceptable. I think that'll be really helpful for a lot of people who set up automated payments or something like that for utility bills. Yeah, it's
right.
Great. So then what about absentee voting? Are those same drop boxes available for people to drop off their ballot if they did request an absentee ballot, or how is that working for this election?
Yep, all the same drop boxes. So there's 15 around the city. There's one at every public library, so Milwaukee Public Library, and there's one here at the Election Commission warehouse on 1901 South Kinnickinnick Avenue, and there's one at City Hall. So 13 at your local Milwaukee Public Library. There's a drop box there where once you receive your absentee ballot, complete it, have your witness sign and write their address on the certificate envelope, they can go and deliver it at a Dropbox location.
And when is that deadline? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I was about just to say that too, that they're open 24/7 and up until 5 p.m. on election day.
Great. So up until 5 p.m., people can drop off their absentee ballots at those Dropbox locations.
Right.
And then what is the deadline to request an absentee ballot?
So the deadline is this Thursday, April 1st. But we're telling people not to wait until Thursday, right? They need to remember they need time to receive their absentee ballot and preferably drop it off at a Dropbox, or if they want to do it completely by mail, then it's super important for them to request their absentee ballot as soon as possible so they can have enough time. Remember, their ballot needs to be at central count in our hands by 8 p.m. on election day. So that's why the 5 p.m. deadline for the drop boxes, we have our staff going there, picking up the ballots, and then bringing them over to the central count location, which is here at our warehouse, 1901 South Kinnickinnick Avenue. So every day we have our staff, Election Commission staff, picking them up, the ballots from the drop boxes at every drop box. So they're all secure and safe for people to drop off their absentee ballot there.
Great, great. And then last question for me, we know that non-presidential elections always have drastically lower voter turnout. Has the Election Commission been making any efforts or like getting out any information to try to make the voter turnout a little bit higher for these more local elections that aren't presidential elections?
Yeah, so we've been trying to, send our information to all of the community partners, right, including SOC, and sending all of community organizations the information they need to get people out to register to vote or get out to vote. So all of this information that I just mentioned, we're trying to share with all of our community partners, and not just people who work, around civic engagement, but also community, development organizations, churches, community centers, things like that, where we're trying to get the word out, and also doing a lot around social media. And now that Facebook is allowing us to do ads, trying to do a bit more of ads, so that people can know about the drop boxes and early voting, and to find their polling location on election day. So yeah, that's definitely our efforts, and hopefully we can get even better for next year, the 2022 elections. In all kinds of ways of being able to have these couple of months that are coming up to plan for those 4 elections next year.
Yeah, next year will be very busy for sure. Well, I just want to say thank you so much. Let me check the comments and make sure there's no questions. Looks like there aren't. But we know that even if people are watching this later on and they have a question, they can go ahead and comment it, and we are in contact with you to answer any questions that we aren't able to answer as SOC.
Right, and I think I just saw there on the comments that to go to myvote.wi.gov to request their absentee ballot. So that's the easiest way for people to do it.
Yeah, we put a bunch of different links in our comments always, so that, the myvote.wi.gov to request your absentee ballot. Also, the Election Commission website that has a bunch of information as well is linked, as well as the locations for all of those drop boxes. Drea is at work in these comments. Thank you so much, Drea, awesome, for having our back with this information in the comments. And any last messages you want to share with people? Maybe share why it's so important that they get out and vote if they're able.
Yeah, I mean, so the offices on the ballot would be state superintendent. There's the circuit court judges for various branches. And then there's also the Court of Appeals. And then on the south side, there's school board for districts 6 and 7. So, of course, there's a lot of these offices that are making decisions in terms of the quality of education that our kids are receiving. So we have a lot of families on the south side. So we want to make sure that people are able to learn about the candidates, that are able to vote and have a voice, and making sure that they are electing people who they want to represent them. So it's really critical for people to go out and vote, to make that to have an effect or to have an impact in the decision making in the education and in the judicial system that we have here locally.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for that message. Thank you for your time and sharing the information from the Milwaukee Election Commission. We look forward to having you on again, maybe after the election, to give us a rundown of how it all went.
Sounds good. Any questions, feel free to reach out. And it's also important to know that we have Spanish speakers in our office that can pick up any Spanish speaking calls.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jonathan.
Okay. Have a good one, everyone.
You too. Very thankful for all of that information from the Milwaukee Election Commission. And like I said, there's a lot of comments in our comment section with links on different places to get information on this election, who's running, how to request an absentee ballot, and all sorts of other things. So again, very thankful to the Deputy Director of the Milwaukee Election Commission for being on with us today. And now I'm going to share a video that for our COVID-19 update, an interview that I did with Doctora Arana from the 16th Street Community Health Clinic that talks about different side effects of the COVID vaccines. Hi, everybody. We're here with Doctora Arana from 16th Street Community Health Clinic. and we're going to be talking about some of the common symptoms that might come from getting the COVID-19 vaccine today. So thank you for being with us. Do you mind sharing about some of the common symptoms that one can expect if they get the COVID-19 vaccine, and if there's any difference between symptoms from the first dose and the second dose or anything like that?
Sure. Usually with the first dose, we don't expect much of side effects. If anything, we're going to have that muscle or that arm. We get it here on the deltoid muscle, and it's going to be a little bit sore for a day or two. Beyond that, we know that some people can have mild headache or feel a little bit of body ache, but it's almost not significant after the first dose. And that's when your immune system is going to learn to recognize the spike protein, and your immune system is going to learn to create antibodies to block that spike protein. After 1 or 2 weeks, your immune system gets better at creating those antibodies. When we are due for the second dose at 21 days, we see that there's a good response. The immune system is going to react to the vaccine, and that's good. So some people can say that, yeah, the pain was a little bit more on that sore muscle on the arm, on the deltoid muscle. And some people experience chills or headaches or body aches, nothing that would stop them from daily activities or from going to work. If someone feels like the headache is too much, you can take Tylenol, acetaminophen, but most people do not need to take anything. It's other side effects or reactions. You may have heard that some people could have an allergic reaction, but that's extremely unlikely. Here at the clinic, we have not seen a case of an allergic reaction. And if that were to happen, we know that those patients respond really well to the usual treatments that we have on hand for allergic reactions. Probably you have heard about Benadryl, that's an antihistamine for allergies. So people respond to that treatment. We have not had any case of severe allergic reactions at this point, so that's good news.
Yeah, that is really good news. Thank you. And yeah, that was going to be my second question about the allergic reaction, but you answered that. So thank you so much, Dr. Arana. We are very thankful for your time.
Thank you so much. And I want to remind everyone that the vaccines are safe. We have a lot of people vaccinated already, and we are safer. Doctors and nurses here at the clinic feel safe, and they can provide a safe care for all of you. So when your time comes to get vaccinated, reach out to your doctor. Every clinic or every health system has a different system to get in line to get your vaccine.
Thank you. Thank you. So again, all of that information that was talked about in that video with Dr. Arana is in the comment section. So the link to register for your COVID vaccine, if you are an eligible person, you can find that in our comment section. It's a pretty straightforward process. There's also a phone number that you can call if you would prefer to do it that way. And all of that can be found in the comment section. I personally have been vaccinated. I didn't have any bad side effects from the first one that I got, and am gonna definitely be sharing my experience about the second one that I get of the Moderna vaccine as well. So, and I know many of you have probably been vaccinated as well. So if you wanna share your experience, please go ahead and comment it, or feel free to message us on our Facebook or reach out to us however, if you want to share your experience or have us share it on our forums, whatever you want. But we really want to be encouraging people to be getting the vaccine to keep everyone safe, as safe as possible. And now I'm just going to share, like Jonathan had mentioned, we can still be requesting our absentee ballots right now up until Thursday, but do it today after hearing this, and I'll just share a video of how quick the process is and how you can do it using the myvote.wi.gov website.
Hi everyone, so I'm just going to show you how you can
request your absentee ballot on your phone. So go to myvote.wisconsin.gov and we'll take you to the home page of My Vote. And then it shows the options here and you'll click Vote Absentee. So then this will show up and you'll enter in your first name, your last name, and then your date of birth to confirm your voter registration and to then go on and request your absentee ballot. So type in your date of birth finally, and then you'll hit search. And then your voter information will show up and you can update your name or address if you need to. Otherwise, then request the absentee ballot. So your voter information will show up again and you can confirm that that address and name are correct, or you can decide to mail your ballot to a different address and then move on. So then it will ask you which elections you want your absentee ballot for. This was done back in the day, but November 3rd should show up for you this time. And then you'll just have to check the box that says, I hereby certify, blah, 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 and then request your ballot. Then it will have you put or upload an image of your identification, passport, license, whatever it might be. You'll take that from your gallery on your phone or directly from your camera and hit continue. And then you should be good to go. So again, the link to do that, the myvote.wi.gov website is in the comments. So go ahead and click that to figure out how to get your absentee ballot. And then I'm just going to leave you all with our survey promo to encourage all of you to be filling out the survey that we have, just letting us know what you liked, what you didn't like, what topics you want us to be talking about, and any other feedback you have for us, because these forums are for you and we want them to be as useful for you as possible. So thanks for being with us today. And as always, leave any comments, even if you're watching this later on, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.
Has this live forum been informative and useful to you? What part of the forum could be improved or changed to make it better? Please take a quick survey that's located in the comments section so that we can keep 3 o'clock with SOC going for residents. Thank you for tuning in.